Hey everyone, thanks so much for jumping into the video today. My name is Travis, in case you don't know me, and it's a beautiful morning here in Tennessee, and I just wanted to jump on and share some thoughts with you. Just got back, well, it's a little over a week ago now, from our Healthy Pastors Retreat, or maybe we called it the Church Health Retreat, I don't know. We called it something like that. But one of the discussions there was over this idea of following your calling versus chasing your potential. And it was a video that we watched together, and it was interesting to hear some of the different perspectives and some of the different thoughts. And so I thought I would jump on and kind of share a little bit about that and get your thoughts and your feedback. And basically the pastor who was speaking, he was talking about, he said, if you're going to follow your calling, you can't be chasing after your potential. And he summed it up and kind of talked about it in the way of like there's going to be times in our lives when like we can go and we can accomplish a lot of great things, and we can please a lot of people, and we kind of be people pleasers in that way, but that may keep us from actually accomplishing our calling. And so as he's talking about calling versus potential, he talks about, he's talking about Jesus, and he says, you know what, Jesus, I mean, did he really reach his potential? I mean, if we were looking at it today, would we say his ministry was successful? I mean, he was in ministry for 3 years. A lot of his followers, they stopped following him. They abandoned him. Even his closest ones, they abandoned him at times. They forsake him. They denied him. They did all these things. And many of you probably who are watching this, you've been in ministry for a lot longer than 3 years. I've been in ministry for longer than 3 years, right? And so would we really say that Jesus really reached his potential? And his thought was, well, Jesus wasn't chasing potential. He was following his calling. And a calling is different than chasing your potential. And so he said, you know what, if you're going to follow your calling instead of your potential, there's a few things that you're going to have to do differently. And I'll just share a couple of them that I remember that stuck out to me. But one, he said, hey, you're going to have to be okay with people being frustrated with you at times, because there's going to be people who are going to be putting expectations on you, and who are going to want things out of you. And if you're going to fulfill your calling, there's going to be sometimes that you're going to need to say no, that you're going to need to let people down. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with them being frustrated, with people sometimes being frustrated with you. That's just part of ministry. And you have to be, and you don't want to harden your heart, but you definitely have to, you can't be so thin-skinned that you let that really bother you and really cause a lot of anxiety and issues within you, because ministry is going to be very, very hard if that's going to be the case for you. And so you got to be okay with, sometimes, sometimes people are going to get frustrated with me. Sometimes people, they're going to want me to do their marriage counseling, or their marriage is falling apart, and they're going to want me to do counseling for them. And the only time that they want to do it is like 7 o'clock at night. And that's the time that, I'm trying to spend with my family and stuff. And so, do I not go to my kids' baseball game or whatever it is because this person's marriage is falling apart, and right now they're in a panic, and so I'm gonna skip out on this to go try to help them in a marriage that's been falling apart maybe for years. And so it's difficult, I think it's even generationally, because I think in the past, a lot of times in ministry, you would sort of drop everything and to go and try to help people, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but at the times it's come at the sacrifice of our family and our own personal health in a lot of ways too. Here's one of the big ones that got me, and is one of his main points. He said, hey, as a leader, especially as sort of a pastor, lead pastor position, senior pastor position, he said you should learn to run at 65 to 70% of what you're capable of. He said if you could learn to sort of do ministry at 65, 70% of what you're capable of, he said you will actually you'll be in a healthier spot, and you'll be able to do ministry for years and years and years and years. But if you chase your potential and you're like, I know I can give it 110%, like I know I can work longer hours, I know that I can do that wedding and do that funeral and do that hospital visitation, and I know I can meet with these people, and I know that I can do this. He said, if you keep trying to do everything, if you keep trying to max out your potential, you'll end up burning yourself out after just a very few years. And he says, and a lot of times, again, it's at the sacrifice of your health, it's at the sacrifice of your family, because you're trying to do all these things to live up to your potential and to please a lot of people that God never asked us and never said that we had to please. And so that's tough for me. I'm kind of an achiever. I like checking things off a list. I like getting things done. I like accomplishing stuff. That's what like ticks the boxes for me. And so to kind of hear that and think through that of like, you're telling me to, to kind of pace myself, and you're telling me to, jog when I know I could be running. Yeah, that could be difficult for me. And so just thinking about it, like, is there truth in that? Should we be thinking more along those lines of like, I need to make sure to pace myself. I need to make sure that, I'm really just doing the things that God has called me to do, and not be worried about people pleasing, and not be worried about trying to accomplish something that God never called me to. And so I'm interested in hearing your feedback and hearing your thoughts. And also, if you watch the end of this video, I really appreciate it. But if something like a pastor's retreat, church health retreat, whatever, if that's something that interests you, know that it does cost some money, and so keep that in mind. But if that's something that interests you, if you don't mind, reply back to this email or comment on this video, and let me know about it. Let me know that you would like to be a part of maybe one in the future, and let me know where you are, so that I can kind of plan, all right, what area do we need to go to next? Because I think it was really beneficial. I really enjoyed it, and I'd really like to see us do a lot more of it. And so hopefully you guys give me some feedback, and we'll plan the next one. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.